everyone, my name is Megan. I'm an artist living in Brooklyn, and today we are at the park trying to figure out which stickers I want to put on the cover of my new Nina Cosford sketchbook. This sketchbook has been on my radar for a while. I've heard other artists like Apple Cheeks and Megan Wang talk about it, so I wanted to try it out for myself. The sketchbook actually arrived with this cute little postcard that really resonated with me, and a lot of the thoughts that I've been having about creativity and being an artist in general lately. So I just wanted to talk about that as I try and figure out the whole sticker situation. If you don't want to listen to me yap, that is totally fine. Feel free to mute and enjoy a quiet, cozy sticker video. But if you do want to hear me yap, let's get right into it. So essentially, my thoughts can be broken down into three main topics or learning points. So the first one being that creativity is fluid, and I would say that this is the biggest lesson I've learned, and if you take nothing else from this video or click off or whatever, I hope that you can at least take that statement to heart, where as artists our creativity manifests in so many different ways, and just because you haven't drawn in your sketchbook or digital art or whatever for however long does not make you any less of an artist. Maybe you haven't been drawing, but maybe you've been super into photography or knitting or makeup or just any other hobby that brings you joy. For me, when I first graduated college and began doing art as a full-time career, so many times I felt like I was a fake artist because I really, really struggled to find that balance and also the desire to do personal work. And to be super honest about it, I would sometimes even work myself up into tears because I would get so stressed out about not being able to draw, or that I wasn't thinking about drawing, or just legitimately fearing that my creativity was just gone, that it had escaped me, it was never coming back. I was also very much ignoring the fact that turning your hobby into a career drastically changes how you view it and approach it, both consciously and unconsciously. But anyway, now I realize that there are other outlets for my creativity to be expressed, and if I'm not feeling like drawing, then something else will probably manifest to fill that space. And if nothing does, that probably means it's time for a break, and that's also just as important. And this acknowledgement has really helped me to be kinder to myself, especially in moments where I really do need rest or just to exist in life. You are still just as much of an artist, and that is something that never goes away. So my second point is that you do not need to niche down if you don't want to. I feel like this is kind of a hot topic at the moment, at least in my own little bubble of what I've seen from social media and just other creators talking about it. So for me, especially as I began to post my art more consistently on Instagram, in the hopes of becoming both more consistent in my art practice and also wanting to lay the groundwork and explore finding an audience to hopefully share my art with, and hopefully people that would also buy my art, like a lot of the artists that I look up to. So the discussion of finding a niche, honestly, to me, the more I hear of it, the more it feels like a repackaged version of how to find your art style. And I don't know if people still do this or not. Like I said, I'm only speaking from my own experience, but I remember in high school and even in college, I was so obsessed with the idea of finding my style. Like, I would watch videos on it, I would try and pinpoint down exactly what my style was, and I would try and stay within that zone that I had created for myself. And honestly, it's kind of lame. Just saying. As artists and creatives, I feel like we have such an amazing gift for how we perceive the world around us, the ways that we find inspiration, the ways that we translate what we see into our art. And if something is exciting to us, why not chase it? And everyone is different, so of course, if you do have a style or niche that you really enjoy, that's great. I just don't think that everyone should feel obligated to do that, to niche down if that seems uncomfortable or unappealing to them. And I feel that style or niche or whatever you want to call it is something that comes naturally and at your own pace rather than something that should be strictly adhered to. And so for me specifically, I've been getting really into learning 3D this past year, which is a pretty big jump from my usual background of 2D illustration. But honestly, I'm having so much fun exploring it and finding ways to incorporate 2D into 3D and vice versa. And it's just been so rewarding. And I feel like if I had really felt tied to the whole niche or one style thing, that I don't know if I would have shared my 3D work as much as I have. And I feel like for me, sharing my 3D work, like I've met so many nice people, like I feel like I've learned a lot, and I feel like I've just grown a lot as an artist. So yeah, I don't know. I just think that you should draw whatever you want. Damn, let's draw what you want. That's crazy. That's so crazy. And so that brings me to my last point, which is to remove your own limitations. So, the last point I was talking about kind of the expectations that we see from others or social media expectations and external pressures, but there are also a lot of ones that we give to ourselves. Some of them might be so ingrained in us that we don't even realize it. Some examples of this could be like, oh, I need to finish the sketchbook in this amount of time. I need to learn anatomy before I can do this. I should stop drawing so many cats, and so on and so forth. Um, this is not me saying not to have artistic goals. I actually think that it is really important to have that. Just as an artist, to have things that you aspire to do and just things that you want to work towards. But if you box yourself in by saying that you can't accomplish something or you can't try something until you've done something else, I feel like you're not really letting your creativity flow. And because your creativity gets so boxed in, when it doesn't manifest exactly how you want it to, it can create this like panic inside you. Um, Basically, the point that I'm trying to make is I think the best thing that we can do for ourselves as artists is to remove as many of our own barriers as we possibly can and just let ourselves explore and see what we find. And in essence, just don't feel bad for stuff. um like I of course, like I do still have my days where I wish that my brain and my, my drawings, my drawing hands, whatever, worked a bit more in tandem, or that those expectations were in sync with each other. But that's just not gonna happen all the time. That's just the experience of being an artist and also just being a person. But also, I feel like I've had way less of those days since I started really taking these 3 lessons to heart that I was talking about. And yeah, just the less limits that we give our art, the better it's gonna feel. And yeah, you know what? That's about it. If you're still here, thank you for listening to me ramble. Subscribe, comment if you want. I'm honestly still trying to figure out the whole YouTube thing. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that. Love you.